Alright, so as the robot waltz fades away, I need to make sure that I've got my headset on and that the mic is working, but it looks like it is. Good to see everybody in the chat. A couple of viewers already. Trying something a little bit different tech-wise. I think it's washing the shit out of my camera. But today we're going to be playing a game called Oxygen Not Included. So it is Sunday, and that means that it is a bit of a Ask Me Anything kind of situation. Hopefully we're all set up in a good place audio-wise. So, like I say, I've changed a lot about my my setup and kind of made a point of... hold on, just give me 1 second to slide a little bit over here. So I made a point of changing some settings, swapped over to Streamlab because I hear that that's much more the way to go. And generally trying to get a little bit more serious on the tech side. Coming back now. Camera's out of focus. Wow, that is really super washed out on the... man. I don't... it's come back. I'm just going to leave it. So, got a handful of viewers, and let's get into it. Like I say, it's Sunday, so it's Ask Me Anything Day. Let me make sure that I've actually said that on Twitter. So we're in the final push towards getting affiliate status. And yeah, shout out to everybody who's been following over the last few days. I really appreciate the support. We're up to like 70 plus followers, so that's cool. All right, so I did some tech setup yesterday, so hopefully the audio levels on this are going to be good to go out of the box, but let's find it out. So I need to change over to that. Oh, there it is. Well, there it is, but there I'm not. That's weird. There we go. Alright, just an ordering thing on the stream there. Like I say, new tech, and I also didn't actually like live test it. So, Oxygen Not Included is a kind of yet another survival kind of game. It's a side-on type thing. I've played a couple of hours of it, maybe, I don't know, something like a year ago. And really enjoyed it, but because it's in early access, I kind of put it to one side and wanted to come back to it later. I really want to talk about the systems that are underpinning it, so I'm going to go on kind of easy mode here. Let's see what happens. Yeah, let's just do a standard game. I wonder if I've got the same ordering problem. No, that's all working. But let me just grab this guy over here. Alright, choose 3 duplicates to begin with. So this is actually really reminiscent of what we saw with RimWorld, where there's kind of a base set of attributes, there's traits, there's kind of a whole thing driving the characters and personalities. And we saw the same kind of thing in Red Shirt. One of the things that I think the more that I kind of do these streams, the more I'm kind of getting in tune with the idea that what I kind of consider as game AI and the way that I think about it really overlaps really hardcore with like systems design. And we talked a little bit about that with the Sunless Sky stream a couple of weeks ago, maybe even last week. But the idea is that kind of like the AI system can only operate within the same framework as effectively the game is articulated. And as a result, that means that kind of AI stuff is very tightly coupled to systems design. Because if you want to be able to kind of express your systems, let the AI express itself through the systems, then it's got to have a robust understanding of the systems available, but also about the kind of how that would be conveyed back to the user in a way that they would understand within the context of the game. Okay, so I mean, we could sit and probably, this guy's a little bit, all right, that's 3, this one's on 5, this one's 3, let's shuffle this person around a bit. All right, that's looking better. Let's embark. So when we played RimWorld, we kind of spent a lot of time trying to select really interesting traits, or at least kind of stuff that is would be useful, but because it's kind of pluses and minuses, it's kind of hard to do. Hey folks in the chat, hey Lenata, hey Saber, how's it going? Welcome to the Sunday stream. Also, so Lenata says hi Ethrek, and that is a name that I've not gone by for a long ass time. So I've awoken with a starting crew of 3 duplicants, but the situation here is not as we expected. Resources are scarce, and our pod is embedded miles beneath the planet's surface. I must help my duplicants survive before I investigate what went wrong. Hey Batu, good to see you. I think Oxygen Included is going to be an interesting game, so we played some stuff last Wednesday that was decidedly not an interesting game. Okay, I've got some pointers here for a tutorial, and it's been so long since I played this that I think a tutorial is going to be, oh, well, I can tell you that mouse wheel is zoom. WAS key pans my view and mouse wheel is zoom, so I figured out the first bullet point in the tutorial ahead of the game. H returns my view to the printing pod. I can speed or slow my perception of time. I'll keep records of everything I discover in my personal database. Okay, so colony management. I can use the dig tool and the build menu in the lower left of the screen to begin planning my first construction tasks. Once I've placed a few errands, my duplicants will automatically get to work without me needing to direct them individually. So again, like, this is one of these games where, yeah, it's about kind of allowing the systems to kind of drive the growth of the colony. So it's very RimWorld-esque, slightly different settings, slightly different way of looking at things, and kind of a little bit, well, think of it as Terraria, where RimWorld is kind of that, I don't even know what the I guess, just a general strategy kind of game, but this kind of side-on kind of view is not common in the survival space, I guess, but Terraria is the obvious example. Oh, so Saber was supposed to be live by now, but he's going to take the day off and hang out. That's nice. Thank you, Saber. So we've assigned our first kind of set of tasks here. The UI's really highlighting with the brighter lit kind of dig symbols. These are the ones that can be done now, and then these more dull ones are kind of the ones at the back that can't actually be done immediately. I'm going to want a bit more space, I think, for my colony. I guess my first thing... So there's 16,000 calories available. Our immune systems are at 100%. Our stress is at 4% and our population is 3. Okay. So let's turn the time back on and start digging. Right, let's turn the time back on now. So they've started digging out there. I'm not actually sure if they'll be able... I thought that just by making it staggered they'd be able to get up there, but maybe not. Oh, yep, they can. So, we're going to want... Well, let's get a storage bin up. Then we can put things places. Let's get some cops up. So, storage bins are working in a fairly standard way where you can kind of filter out what can be put where. So that's allowing us to kind of designate, well, this, or it will down the line when we've actually got more interesting stuff going on. For specific types of things to go in specific storage places. So all that sandstone that we had from digging out that is now being shoved in that storage bin. We're going to want to... do... here we go. That looks like a harvest plant. Let's get rid of these guys so that we've got a bit more space. That ration box, I guess, has edible stuff in it. Okay. Stores a small amount of food. So Saber's saying that they get overwhelmed by these kinds of games easily. Sheltered and Oxygen not included both hit that itch of surviving in an hospital environment. My viewers want me to try RimWorld, but I fear it may just fry me like a fucking egg by the end of it. It's actually, like, it's a really good point. These are not, because they are kind of like creating these high-stress survival kind of situations, and then you end up in a world where... I thought I told you to harvest this shit. Where somebody dies, and I check out completely if somebody that was like one of my core people dies in one of my games, because like that's duplicate movement. Duplicants can only climb 2 tiles high and can't fit into spaces smaller than 2 tiles, which I should keep in mind when placing errands. To check if an errand is possible, I can send a duplicant and click. I can select a duplicant and click show navigation to view all areas. Okay, that's actually a really cool kind of way of exposing a little bit more about. Let's just pause time. So it's exposing a little bit about how the pathfinding system is working in particular. So you're actually able to use that as a feedback effectively. So that's cool and a little bit different. Let's. We've got a priorities thing, but I think we're so early in the game, I should say, that Sorry, my phone was buzzing, and it turns out that I guess Gittles Olives is watching and texting me at the same time. So there's a pro tip for anybody who's an aspiring streamer or just getting started. Set your phone on Do Not Disturb before you start, otherwise people will just start... oh crap, what word am I looking for? Not haggling. Oh, whatever. Heckling, that's the word I'm looking for. Jesus Christ. You can tell it's a Sunday, right? So we probably want to lay some tiles in this, let's say, air quotes room. And cancel these guys. But you know, the idea that these are actually fairly high stress kind of games is really valid. I mean, I guess that's kind of the point of them, but at the same time, it's a little bit kind of not the best. It sort of creates a very intense kind of, and this is what, you know, I actually don't play like horror games specifically for that reason. So we've got tiles, we've got... I think we've got space now for another pump. So all three people can have a space to sleep, that's fun. I call them people, but I think the fact that they're called duplicants means that they're some sort of second-class clone citizen type thing, which is almost certainly going to generate some really interesting stuff later down the line, I suspect. Alright, we've got plumbing. We should... probably build an outhouse. Let's mark this area for construction. Oh, so the note is saying that I'm quiet versus the construction noise. Now, so this is part of what I was doing yesterday. So on my Stream Deck, I think now that I'm using a third-party mixer, I can actually increase the mix on... Oh god, that's been weird. I can increase the mix on my mic from the Stream Deck. So that might be a bit louder. Shout out in chat if that's actually made things better or worse. I'm not entirely sure what I'm doing, but it's not stopping me from pressing buttons. Because why would it? That's the fun. So, you know, one of the things that's interesting here, to an extent, is so I've been talking about kind of. Oh, well, there it is. So I was gonna say I've not kind of got an obvious. I've got this outhouse building, but I haven't got an obvious kind of meter about like the usage and kind of like the need. But when you pull up a duplicate, you actually do get immediate feedback on that need. So again, that's actually, I thought it was defying what I'd said earlier, just to spite me, but it's not. It's actually doing exactly what I said, which is you get the meter exposed so players understand it. So Saber just started hosting, so thank you very much, Saber. I really appreciate it. And yeah, so I have just cut over to the Streamlabs OBS, but I didn't know there was a phone app for it. The audio stuff that I'm doing, I just swapped over to using Voice Meter, So I'm kind of doing like virtual audio mixer stuff with capturing the computer input, or the computer's output and the mic input, and mixing that down into one virtual kind of sound device, which was a bit of a mindfuck when I was figuring it out, but I got there in the end, I think. So I'm going to need some way of getting some water soon. There's water down here. But that's the end of the day. I hope that's not an aggressive bug. Doesn't look like it. So we can set up here. Actually, that's a bad idea. So we're going to have to dig down to that water at some point. But the trick is probably going to be to dig down here. And then base ladder. Oops. Helps if you can actually move your mouse effectively. So that looks like it's going to be set. So tomorrow we should get a bathroom. Sorry, an outhouse. And then we might get some water out of this. Maybe. I guess we can, well, not with that button, but evening's going to be pretty boring, so let's just go full steam ahead and go to the next day. So these shine bugs are actually coming in handy, I guess, because they're providing a lot of light. Alright. Outhouse is up. So you've got kind of, well, the bug need state is not super important, but here's, you know, you get a lot of status info, you've got a lot of feedback on, like, how the systems underpinning this thing are actually working, which is kind of the whole point here. Like, effectively, the UI is providing like a layer of nicety and interaction over this kind of really rich kind of simulation. And as a result of that, you're actually in a world where you can grok pretty easily like what is going on. And now we're in a world where we've got access to water, and that's cool. Having access to water feels super useful. Alright, there's germs in this area, but I don't know what to do about it, so we're gonna do nothing about it. That storage is full, so let's throw up another one. Storage bin. Bart is asking if I know anything about the AI system underpinning this, and I actually don't. I've actually been honestly really bad lately about keeping on top of like any articles or posts about particularly indie games, but just generally kind of what systems people are using and what people find interesting these days. You know, I've been very heads down, kind of working on my stuff and not paying that much attention to what's going on. The one thing that I did find was a really interesting PCG post, not related to this game, but you can kind of like, so let's just have a look around. You can kind of see from a PCG point of view, there's definitely something here around the concept of biomes. So my gut would be that there's some purling noise just just kind of, if you cock your head and squint at this kind of map, you can kind of see that it's probably some sort of kind of Perlin noisy kind of biome assignment type thing, would be my guess. At least you could get this kind of map out by doing something like that, and it would be fairly easy. Obviously, the underlying systems they're probably not that heavily AI, actually. The simulation itself is more system design than it is kind of AI stuff. It's how the agents kind of interoperate around that, and you can probably, given that you can modulate their priorities up here, there's a fairly good chance, I would say, that there's some sort of utility system backing that. That would be my guess, at least. I don't know if that's true. You could maybe do something interesting with, like, maybe utility plus behavior trees, maybe. So that was the system that we used on Redshirt, so that we got fairly consistent kind of diverse behaviors, but consistent within the bounds of the simulation. So my guess is that that's where this is. It's certainly how I would build it. Because, I mean, one of the things to keep in mind is that the aim of the game is to... the aim of the game is to make a good game. And to make something that is artistically valid, I guess, is also kind of potentially another one. And that means that generally, like, although the AI stuff kind of helps with that, it's not necessarily the core focus. So germs such as... transitioning into reading tutorial text, because otherwise I'm just going to sit here with it open for forever. Germs such as food poisoning and slime lung can cause disease in my duplicants. I can use the germ overlay to view all germ concentrations. Let's do that. Let's bring up the germ overlay. So you can see there's a whole bunch of slime lung, and there's a food poisoning thing waiting to happen over here. Building wash basins from the medicine tab by colony toilets will tell my duplicants they need to wash up. So that seems like a good idea. Let's do one of those. We're also going to want to do this plumbing thing. So I've got a pitcher pump. I see. So if I place, so I was expecting that I was going to have to, like, plumb it myself, but it looks like just putting it is. I don't know if it's coming across on the stream, but I'm going to point to something on the screen and you guys can't see it, so that's really not useful. If you look underneath the mouse cursor, you can just see like a tendril coming down, kind of, and I think that's telling me that it's going to generate its own pipe. So in order to get that to work, I'm going to need to issue some dig orders here so that I've got space for it. That sandstone's going to drop in the water. That feels like it's probably going to also be bad times. But never mind. And I also now can't reach that. Can I... I can build a tile, I guess. Let's build a tile and it will be a tent kind of platform. So I've now got a tutorial on... By building a pitcher pump from the plumbing tab over a pool of liquid, my duplicants will be able to bottle it up and manually deliver it wherever it needs to go. That's cool. I'm a little bit interested, and I know this is going to be something that's probably interesting to you too as well, Batu, but like, is that tutorial popping up because it's time for me to think about water, or because I opened up the plumbing and kind of, like, what was the contextual clue that I've just been talking about plumbing and water? It's a relatively interesting thing to be thinking about. Because it feels like there's almost like a disconnect where it's popping up the tutorial text after I've noticed something, and kind of Like, then it's kind of like, okay, cool, well, I've just sort of figured that out myself, but thanks, I guess. So begins another day. Alright. So that should give us enough room to start up a pitch pump. I guess it actually needs to be built. I can't put it over the tile. I have to actually float it. Okay, so it's going to go there. We need a food source. We're missing food. I need metal ore to make a food source. So Saber says, listening to you pull apart things that as a consumer takes for granted, the pathfinding and even what procs the tutorials. I didn't know that I was going to be enjoying a lecture today. I'm going to be taking notes at this rate. I hope the keyword there is enjoying, because yeah, I mean, this is what I do for a living. So like, you know, the being able to actually do it with other people's games and find an outlet for this that frankly creates a world of like allowing me to schedule playing games and actually feel like I'm being productive it's actually been super fun. That's not going to work. Oh, maybe it is. In fact, I think if I schedule a ladder down here, I think it's going to auto build. Sorry, auto dig. And we're nearly ready. I think there's a new next production for a duplicant in 82 seconds. So the printing pod is an exceptionally advanced bioprinter of unknown origin. It periodically produces new duplicates. Duplicants is a really interesting kind of terminology because you know, it's making it very clear that these are not real people. And that's an interesting... Oh, I did not set a filter on this guy. That's why we're not getting stuff. Okay. You know, it's setting up a narrative device that's like, hey, these are not real people. It kind of doesn't matter if they die. But also with some Blade Runner overtones, I guess. Which is kind of interesting. So we don't have an oxygen diffuser. We're getting like contextual clues in the top left here as well as tutorial. So we're not producing oxygen. We happen to have a load, so we're okay for right now. And we don't have any food sources, and we're nearly out. So we've got to go find some food. And in order to find food, we need a microbe musher, which is going to require some metal ore. So let's schedule. Well, so this area is vacuum. And so, well, I'll come back to this bit. So this bit is vacuum. So if I dig all of this out, the air in here is going to have to fill that vacuum. And it's going to become a little bit less pressurized, I guess. But at the same time, like the fact that it's coming up as very breathable probably means that's not actually a real problem. So I'm just going to go ahead and do it. And let's see what happens. Oh, I guess that's a little bit too high on that one, so let's cancel that guy. There's a lot of carbon dioxide down there. You get the sense that something down here is generating carbon dioxide. Anyway. Oh. Did somebody just die? Oh. Bert's having a narcoleptic nap, so good for Bert. Oh shit. So in order to build a microbe musher, we're going to need power. Alright, I guess we're building a manual generator. Then we're going to build a microbe musher. I hope that's far enough away from the bathroom. Then we're going to need a wire connecting that guy to that guy. So Mr. Mundham's point is, about the tutorial stuff is that, you know, looking at a tutorial from the lens of making sure the player doesn't fail is a good way of thinking about this stuff. So at a point where, okay, we're going to make, sure, let's just make those forever. Good to meet you too, Saber. So Saber's going to take off and actually get on a stream, which makes a ton of sense. And it's nice to see, you know, friends of friends and stuff like that hanging out. So thanks for stopping by. Honestly, this is the most jumping the chat's been in a while. So, all right, we're going to choose a duplicate, and we're going to get that same 3 selections. We've got, you know, we're starting to get a sense now of what these attributes are actually going to translate to. But I don't have a good sense of what we've got in the thing. We've certainly got somebody with narcolepsy, so I don't want 2 of those. Print that person. The idea of printing people is a bit weird. And that person is sleeping because it is nighttime. But that means that we can throw up a cot right there. This oxygen diffuser is going to need power as well. So let's see how the power's going. So that's generating 400 watts, and that's consuming energy. Okay, so we've got a little bit of overhead. So we're consuming we're generating 400. We're taking 240 out, which means that we've got space to throw up this thing, which I think is going to consume 120. Lenada is saying that she's got a delay on the iPad. That's honestly, like, that is the worst. I get that all the time when I'm watching Ashley Brown's stream. Shout out to Ashley Brown. And like, I feel your pain. You know, when you're in that world where you're trying to comment on something, but you know that it's kind of like from maybe a minute ago, and everybody's moved on, but you've got something to say and post in chat, and then it's just, oh shit. So you just shout out, Lynn. It's fine. Definitely need to deal with. Okay, we've got the food coming up now, so that's fine. We've got the food. We've got the oxygen. So oxygen is now included. Aha! See what I did there. We got water. All right, we've got insufficient oxygen. All right, let's how the fuck do we figure out what's going on there? I mean, at the end of the day, like, you can, even just in this mouse over, so as I highlight the tile, it's telling you stats about that tile. It's giving you, like, okay, here's the oxygen here is carbon dioxide. Like, honestly, you can kind of squint and almost see the simulation that's backing this, just based on that. And it's really interesting because, like, you know, everything being tile-based gives you a lot of leeway. And you end up in some weird states, like here. Like, look at this. You've got water, 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 water. But this one is polluted oxygen. But, like, why is that water kind of joining through there? It ought to take an arc that goes, if you follow the cursor, it ought to take an arc that goes like that. And that probably brings that one up a bit. But it's something to do with, like, how they're doing their water modeling, and how they're doing like the procedural rendering makes it look a little bit weird there. Because gravity is definitely a thing. I'm interested in what's creating this. Because there's a lot of carbon dioxide down here, but I don't have a good sense of what's generating that. Let's harvest these muck roots. Because if one of those is actually generating carbon dioxide, then we do want to get rid of it. Still got insufficient oxygen, but I bet it's not actually a problem. Oxygen generation 61, consumption minus 135 for a net of minus 73.9. So power usage 124.5, consumed 68. For a net positive of 55.9, but then that gets wasted. So what that's telling me is I probably need a battery, and I'll drop it into this circuit. I don't have enough here to drop another diffuser. So I wonder if there's, you know, where do we go next? We've got some medicine stuff that we've not explored but looks higher tech than we are. Furniture, we've just got the cot. Okay, research station. This is the thing that we haven't used yet. That's going to need 60 watts. It's a little bit weird to throw it here, I guess, but at the same time I just don't want to build a load of wiring. So let's throw it up. Everybody's got a cup. And now we can start looking at the research tree. Okay. So the initial research is more plumbing, more ventilation, or some ventilation. I don't think we've got any yet. Interior decor for a lamp. A flower pot and a light. Well, we've got the glow bugs, so I'm okay with that. I think I'm going to start out with some basic farming because that should help. Maybe, you know, intuitively you think farming, you think, okay, That's probably going to help with the oxygen production and also with the food production. So that seems like the right place to start. And now if I drop out of that, I don't think we're in a bad state yet. We're trickling out. We're definitely net negative on oxygen, but I don't think it's the end of the world currently. We've got a load of, so we've got the inventory on the right hand side here. So like there's a lot of stuff happening that is like, as soon as I have a thought about like, okay, I want to understand where I am with blank, usually I can kind of squint and find it within this UI, which is actually pretty cool. So we got obsidian there. I don't know what that's going to be used for, but it sounds important. We've got copper, coal. Coal could be useful. Actually, coal's probably not going to be useful. There's chlorine in that pocket. There's hydrogen in that pocket. So those are probably best avoided. There's some oxygen here. Here. Some there, some there, some there. So there's a bit of space to expand here before we start getting into problems with breathability. So we can probably put off that ventilation stuff for a little while. Oh, there's a security door there. That suggests there's something interesting on the other side of it. There's a whole bunch of interesting stuff in there inside the chlorine. You would think that they would need to not be in chlorine to grow, but I guess that's not a thing. Right, so so this is scheduled downtime, so they get to have a chat and do stuff now rather than doing actual jobs. And there's the end of day. In RimWorld, you can actually define what the schedule is. I don't know if that's going to be the case here. It doesn't look like it. Entries in my database. Buildings. Oh, this is interesting. AND gates, buffer gates, filter gates. It looks like there's a whole... I think Minecraft really started this idea that there's like a electronic system within the game that allows you to effectively do whatever you want to do. But that's super fucking cool, and it allows you a lot of flexibility. So Factorio has something similar now, or not now, but it has done for a while. This obviously has it. Oops. What was that just dropped from the top there? I guess it was part of the New Day start mechanic, maybe? So Leonardo's saying, I wonder how the presentation would compare in readability compared to an old simulation like Capitalism. Sadly, I no longer own that one, never mind trying to run it on a modern computer. That's a really good question. Like, it's interesting going back to these old games and just the level, not just sophistication, because sophistication is obviously an easy way of kind of talking about this stuff and saying, oh yeah, well actually, you know, games have got more sophisticated, therefore the kind of UI elements and all this kind of stuff is kind kind of being done better. But I think also just people's expectations have changed. You know, and part of that is like a zeitgeist thing, right? So, you know, during the 90s, it was very common in first-person shooters for health packs, and it was kind of expected that health packs were going to be available, and that was how you healed yourself. But kind of the zeitgeist changed. I bet the algae is what's generating the fucking... Algae is a class... The zeitgeist changes, and like now it's much more accepted in shooters to kind of hide behind a wall and your health will regenerate. And a lot of it is kind of market trends effectively, but then there's other elements involved as well. You know, so I think that the games in general are reflective of their kind of time in some ways. So I would venture a guess that in terms of readability, like most modern gamers are going to find this very much more readable than the legacy games. That said, that's probably not actually truth. That's more about familiarity, I think. But it is really interesting, kind of treating these as like almost expectation management, and actually kind of you know, thinking about what it actually means to be a game today versus a game even 5 years ago. Nobody wants to dig out that... Oh, there we go. I was going to say nobody wants to dig out that sandstone, but they just did. There's a whole bunch of crap starting to stack up over here. Copper ore. Alright. Oh, food safety. Alright, the food my duplicants cook will only ever be as clean as the ingredients used to make it. Storing food in sterile or refrigerated environments will keep food free of germs. While carefully placed hygiene stations like wash basin or shower will prevent the cooks from infecting the food by handling it. Dangerously contaminated food can be sent to compost by clicking the compost button on the selected item. So there you go. So I suspect that what it's kind of telling me is, hey, putting all of this kind of production shit next to your food production is not the right way to do it. But I'm not going to do anything about that. I'm just going to jump over to the other side of the screen, just to show you what this menu down here is. So you've got your 4 kind of common task assignment stuff: dig, cancel, deconstruct, and priority. And then you've got 7 less common things: extract pipe contents, harvest, mop liquid spills, capture critters, attack poor wild critters, move debris, and disinfect. So that's allowing you to kind of issue assignment, and it's interesting, you know, to that readability point. It's really interesting the way that, like, it's clearly allocating, these are the 4 that you're going to use on a regular basis. Oh, and here's 7 other things that are going on. So I'm going to jump back over to the other side of the screen and drop away from that. Alright, so they're going to do their thing. Could really do with like a door. Oh, pneumatic door. That's exactly what I was looking for. Let's put a pneumatic door here. And let's put a unit of... So tile is wall and floor. So let's do that. Artu's asking if there's a search function on finding things out. I actually don't see one, so I think it's just figuring out what is most likely to group where. So walls and doors, you know, maintain the colony's infrastructure with these homemade basics is the tooltip on the base here. It's probably a little bit small on the stream. So I think it's true that in general games don't offer great search functionality, but I was playing something recently that like leveraged the search function hard. What the hell was I playing? What have I been playing recently? There's not that many things. That's going to drive me nuts. You know what it was? It wasn't me playing it, that's why I'm confused. It was Ashley Brown. Shout out. Second shout out, I guess, to Ashley. Ashley_EAE on Twitch. Ashley's actually one of the people that got me into this stuff. She's a UX researcher at University of Utah, and her kind of hook is she does what she calls think alouds, and she'll play a new game and go through the onboarding process and kind of be thinking about it out loud. And that was really interesting to me. It was fascinating to watch, but it's actually what got me started streaming, because what was happening was I was kind of finding myself in her chat, watching her, but also talking about the AI stuff. And then I got to a point where I was just like, you know what? Why don't, instead of me monopolizing her chat with fucking monologues about AI, why don't I just go do my own thing? So we've got the basic farming down. We need to allocate ourselves an area that's going to be for our farm, and we need to assign a new research topic. Now, my gut is that the next thing we're going to want is this light, because farming without light is going to be hard, so I'm going to go for that. It looks like research takes a couple of days to get this 15 points of research, so by the time we get down there we should be good to go. So let's carve out this area. I'm a little bit concerned at the level of carbon dioxide in here. But if we can set our farming going here, then we can clean that carbon dioxide, I think. So seems like it's probably a good move. Yeah, I think it would be really interesting for you to watch that in particular, Batu. You know, I know it aligns quite a bit with your research interests. And Ashley's just a lot of fun to watch anyway. She doesn't take it super seriously, and as a result, it's actually really entertaining. Can I... So I can set that door to just fix open. Which would allow like these glow bugs to move back. Although they may not. There's food poisoning in that storage bin. That's bad times. Alright, we've got the algae terrarium. That feels like it might not need power. Ooh, it doesn't look like it needs power, so that's good. Wait, why can I not? Oh, do I just build that in the soil? So oxalite emits oxygen. That's interesting. Is there something here that's... It feels just based on how it's working like there's something here that's emitting carbon dioxide. But I don't see what that is. Okay, so that was the oxygen. On food, we can now make a planter box. Grows one plant from a seed. And we can make a ration box. And the exclamation points are really highlighting like which categories have new things in them, so that's kind of cool. And then we've got reduces polluted dirt and other compostables down into dirt. We don't have a great area for that yet. So let's... when do we get a new duplicate? Because new duplicate in 0.2 cycles. I'm getting to a point where I've got more stuff going on than we actually are getting to. So I don't know if you can... These guys are eating and... Well, they're eating and getting sick, so that's not ideal. That was the wrong moment, I think, to zoom in on that. But they're actually getting... When they go into that downtime mode, they're getting an opportunity to like interact with each other, and you're getting fly-ups around what those interactions are. So you get like pleasant chit-chat. Now, again, you know, speaking to this kind of readability of the simulation versus the interface, I would imagine that there's, yeah, so you've got a morale function, you've got these status effects, so you've got a new friend gave you a minus 10% for the day stress. Pleasant chit chat, which was the fly up, that gives you minus 5%. So everything is kind of hanging together really well here and really kind of driving, you know, and it's actually something that I don't think I appreciated until I started doing this stream, which is the extent to which AI and system design are so interconnected. You know, it really is like you need the system to tell the player what the AI is doing. And if you can't do that, then it's going to be a miss because you're defying or not even setting expectations in order to have them met. So one thing that's worth mentioning is that Sundays are supposed to be Ask Me Anything. And if you have any questions about AI stuffs, I am at your disposal because it is a Sunday and that's the deal. Mr. Mundum says that there's going to be a UX of AI workshop at FTG. Honestly, all of the FTG workshops that have been announced sound fucking awesome. I'm actually really looking forward to them. So, somebody has... somebody just peed themselves because the toilet's out of order. That's a problem. But as a result, we've got polluted water flowing around here. So we're going to have to mark that for cleanup, and there is a mop liquid spills. So let's do that. So FTG this year has got a workshop on personalization. It's got a workshop on something else, and it's also, I believe, it's going to be at San Luis Obispo at Cal Poly, which makes it really accessible from here. I'm really looking forward to that one. I don't think we're going to be putting any proposals in for sessions, but I know that we're very interested in participating as attendees. We just have to figure out if we can get budget for it. So food poisoning is clearly a problem here. Let's figure out what we can do. I think part of it might be that we're just like leaving the food lying around rather than shoving it in the ration box. Part of it is probably that you have to go past the bathroom to get there. Is there an option to like move a building? Oh, what's this? Oh, is this priority? Oh, this is priority for the microbe musher. And we can disable the building. We can disable disinfect, which we should not do. We can deconstruct. There's no move option, which is feels like a bit of a miss. So that's something that RimWorld actually does really nicely, is you can package up the building, put it into storage, and then bring it out of storage. Not building, item, I guess. So mostly furniture, but I think it applies to other shit as well. So that's really cool. We've got a few problems here. We're down about 200 grams of oxygen, so we're hurting there, but it's not the end of the world yet. We're about to add another replicant, though. Sorry, duplicant. Whatever. Mr. Munden says he was at AAAI over a few weeks ago. There was a track on humans and AI, and he was really excited about that. But it turns out it was MRI type stuff, humans as data sources, and that's, you know, valid in a way. But AAAI is never gonna, like, that was the one that I think was in Hawaii. Is that right? So that's a nice thing. So this guy's got a lot of positive traits and attributes, so I'm going to pick him. Alright, let's get rid of this tutorial on polluted water. We've still got some polluted water down here that we're going to have to deal with, but not right now. It's getting to a point now where there's too much for the 4 people that we've got. So we're going to have to... Well, we just got our 5th person, which means we need a 5th cot. We don't have space for a 5th cot. That's a problem. I flag these as... Alright. Wait, that tool worked with... Oh, okay. I'm going to flag these as 4s. I'm going to flag out. So this is allowing me to change the priority on specific actions. So this is allowing a level of micro that most of these games don't, actually. Why are these still highlighted? We looked at these. Oh, I need to actually click in to remove the highlight. Alright. We're now getting a note that there's unrefrigerated food, which... Duplicate temperature. Thermal tolerance overlay. Well, that all seems fairly comfortable. So, black, kind of grey is comfortable. Red is body heat retention, and blue is body heat loss. So red is hot, blue is cold. Water is cold, chlorine is hot, and hydrogen is hot, apparently. We're going to have to deal with this chlorine and hydrogen soon. Ah, okay, we've got a light. Ah, fuck, it went the other way. Alright, try to get one of these glow bugs into this room. But it's not working out. So we don't have enough dirt to build the algae terrarium. but nobody is actually getting on with fucking digging, which I think is where we get dirt from. Let's see if we can... Okay, we've got polluted dirt. Actual dirt. 0. Alright, where do we get actual fucking dirt from? Oh, that's dirt. Alright, well... fucking go do the thing then, it's priority 4. Why did they not do the priority 4 things before they were doing the priority 5 things? Something weird here. Alright. Oh, is it that they can't breathe by there, so they're not trying to get there? Is that what's going on? In which case, if that is the case, then we should dig this way. But that's going to be a problem for tomorrow. I think that's exactly what's going on. And also we're feeding all of our dirt to the micro mush machine. That just bounced and I don't know why. Oh, I think it was telling me that the planter box is now available. Need a better power system. Artistic expression is probably not the thing, but internal converts coal into electrical power and produces carbon dioxide. That's going to fuck us pretty hard. Let's see what this jobs board is going to give us. So Skittles Olives is guessing that priority 4 is... Oh, you are absolutely correct. 1 is least urgent and 9 is most urgent. You know what? I've been spending too much time in Jira and too much time talking about P0s and thinking about things in that numbering system. So yeah, so I basically told these things not to bother with the stuff that I actually wanted to do. So thanks a lot, Skittles, for pointing that out. And since Skittles is in the chat right now, one thing that I will mention is that there's going to be no stream next week because I'm going to be in Toronto. And this time next week I will hopefully be hanging out with Skittles Olives and Fitz in particular and a whole bunch of cool people doing cool things because Toronto is really awesome. I'm really looking forward to this trip. It's going to be all week. I might try and fit in the Wednesday stream that week. So there's going to be Wednesday this week and then no Sunday, maybe a Wednesday, and then we'll be back on the subsequent Wednesday, which is subsequent Sunday, which I think is like the 3rd, maybe. So I'm going to go up and work from our Toronto office for a week, catch up with some people up there, get some alignment on what we're going to be doing in Q2, which is really exciting. But also, I just really like Toronto is a really cool city. There's a lot of great people in Toronto and cool stuff going on there. Leonardo says digging a hole should let the CO2 sink. Yeah, that's a great idea. The other option that we've got is that we can research the ventilation stuff and actually vent it that way. Although I don't think we get selective filtration, but we could probably do something with that idea of like of heaviness. I mean, there's just so much fucking cool stuff happening in this game. Like the idea that like gas. I think I just kicked my mic. Sorry if that came across the stream. The idea that gases have like density and that is actually modeled is a level of fidelity that we just don't see in most things, and that starts to open up some really interesting opportunities around how we think about this stuff. So that guy is consuming carbon dioxide, so actually I probably don't want to vent this area because that's actually feeding into this guy now. We've lost another 200 grams of oxygen though, so we're going to have to do something here. How long until we get another... one of our people does not have a bed, and that's probably going to be something that we get dinged for. Alright chat, what do you want to do? Where do you want to... So we've got 4 beds up here. We can start another bedroom. We can throw a bed just out in the kind of this main work area. What do you reckon? What do you reckon the players here? Unclear what the shading on this is, but this is what different things people are allowed to eat. I mean, in a way, alright, Lynn says bedroom downstairs, so done and done. In a way, all of these games are extensions of The Sims, right? And Sims is probably going to be an interesting one to actually spend some time looking at eventually. I'm sort of starting to think about. So we've got a whole bunch of art assets now. We've got so the art assets are courtesy of Pragmacat. So that's the banners and the profile pictures and stuff like that. We've now got the theme songs courtesy of Deathbow, so that's giving us some cool stuff like for example, if something fucks up, then I can play this. And then I'm using this one as the main theme right now. I suppose it's weird to be playing music over the top of the game. But the point being that like we're getting to a point now where I'm starting to feel like it might be time to consider this. I've kind of been operating on the basis that the stream's been in like soft launch, and it might be time to get a little bit kind of more launchy. And Sims and SimCity are probably really good examples of games that are worth a deep dive when it comes around to that kind of full-on launch. You know what? On the basis that the we're gonna up the priority on tidying, since everything is getting dirty all the time. So let's actually like make that more of a priority for the colony. We're still not generating enough. Okay, so we generated 191 kilograms of oxygen and we consumed 267. So we're going to have to get that better. Let's throw up another algal terrarium. Like that. Leonardo's asking if I'm going to put the streams to YouTube as well. I probably ought to. I know that Ashley does. I haven't figured it out, and B, I think as soon as I get affiliate status, I actually get more than 7 or 14 days or whatever the thing is. And given how jumping the stream and the chat has been today, I'm actually thinking that today's going to be bump me up, and I'm going to get my affiliate status today. So to get affiliate status, you need to have 50 followers. You need to have streamed for like 8 distinct days, a certain amount of time, but also have maintained a certain viewer average. And the number that you need for that is 3 viewers on average across the last 30 days. I've been at 2.94 for a while, and I think I'm going to be able to bump up over that 3.0 based on today's viewership. So I'm really excited about that. My whole goal around this was in Q1 I wanted to achieve affiliate status. So we got the jobs board. In Q1 I wanted to get affiliate status, and that meant by the end of March I wanted to be coming out with the 50 followers and all the list that I just gave you. I'm going to go for ventilation next, because I think we've got an issue around that coming. So I'm pretty much like a month and a half ahead of schedule on where I wanted to be, so I'm pretty happy with that. So I'm still fascinated by this idea of the downtime, because I just don't see any way of controlling. I guess we've got this red alert button over here, which allows you to ignore the... here we go. Manage schedule. I knew it would be somewhere. So we've got... we haven't got, like, explicitly... wow. So, there's no explicit hours around this, so you just split up into, like, time periods. There's an awful lot of work. There's only 3 time periods assigned to bedtime. There's 2 time periods assigned to downtime. So, bath time allows them to go to the bathroom, use the showers, wash their hands. Once they're all caught up on personal hygiene, duplicants will head back to work. So we've got work all through this period, then downtime, and then bedtime. So during downtime, it says that they may go to the bathroom. So, I don't know, it's, yeah, fine. Default schedule, alarm on. Okay. Alright, so you can even set the notifications around that those shift hours. That's kind of cool. Like, the amount of... And I guess, again, like, and I know I keep kind of articulating effectively the same point, but the when you've got this kind of very mechanical, very numeric system backing everything, like, being able to actually expose pieces of that in the UI and allow the player an amount of agency around it is actually... It feels really empowering, but it's actually not that complicated. And that's kind of cool. So this is interesting. The air here is not breathable. So this guy is holding his breath trying to get to this. And I think he's about to... Go on, run, 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 run. Yeah, good. So that's kind of the impact. In fact, I'm going to cancel this build. That's the impact that the breathability has, which is pretty cool. So to Lynn's earlier point, I'm going to dig out a chunk here. And we can run down and do that, but that will drop that oxygen, just that. Sorry, not the oxygen, the other stuff, the bad stuff, the stuff we don't want. CO2. So we can probably get an oxygen overlay. So you've got very breathable, breathable, barely breathable, and unbreathable, and you can see that a lot of this area is actually flagged as unbreathable. So you're going to want to do something here. This is why I'm doing the research on the ventilation, because I think there's probably some like gas exchange something that we can do to make this a little bit better. You can see that there's patches here of carbon dioxide kind of accumulating. This is also why I wanted to get after the plants, because I think the photosynthesis kind of process is going to recycle that carbon dioxide, I think. Let's turn that overlay off. Oh, we're ready for another duplicant. Alright, what do you think? We've got... So this guy can't research, but he has +1 athletics, +2 cooking, +2 creativity, +2 ranching, +5 strength. He is buff, and he enjoys supply and operate. That feels like a pretty solid one. This guy looks, well, so he's got noodle arms, so it's -3 strength. I can relate to that quite heavily. +2 athletics, +2 construction. Kind of can't relate to that. Simple taste and uncultured. This one's a mouth breather, so he uses more oxygen. He's anemic, so that's -5 athletics. That kind of doesn't feel right. +2 bonus to all skills in the morning. I'm gonna go with this dude, I think. So let's make it an interactive thing. Do we want Liam, do we want Nails, or do we want Joshua? Cast your vote in the chat. See what I'm doing there? That's pro streaming right there. Except now that I have to like vamp for the next 30 seconds while everybody streams like catch up and we go through the thing. While I'm doing that, I can also dick around with jumping over to the other side of the screen for funsies. I'm honestly, like, I've got this Stream Deck thing, and I'll post a photo of it on Instagram for those who are not pro streamers such as myself. It's something that, honestly, it came up on Black Friday, well before I was doing any streaming stuff. Just punch the microphone again, so you know that's the kind of quality stream entertainment that happens here. And I thought, oh, that's cool. So I picked it up and then didn't do anything with it for a while. And as soon as I started streaming, like, the benefit of it was fucking amazing. It's a really useful thing. I don't like being on the left-hand side of the screen, so I'm going to jump back to the other. So the decor benefit allows duplicants to receive morale bonuses from lower decor values. High morale prevents duplicants from being stressed. It's probably useful, but I don't know that we're in well. So he gets food benefit as well. He likes to build and he likes to dig, but he has -3 strength. And that's affecting cleaning. I think we're going to go with Liam. Like, I gave you all plenty of time to have an opinion. Alright. There's Liam falling on his ass. Alright, we're getting one of those terrariums up. That's going to be good. Need to get the other one up as well, because insufficient walls. Oh, there we go. That's it going. That's it going. No, it's not. Alright. We've got that extra bit of oxygen capacity now, so that's good. We're going to get another one there. We need another bed for Liam. We've got a lamp. We've got a flower pot. We've got a water cooler to provide a gathering place during downtime. We've got a new station. Our new station is a jobs board, which will unlock hats. Alright, let's see what happens if we unlock hats. Well, we're into downtime, so we're going to find out shortly. So losing... So... Because we... I wonder what we can do about that. So one of the things that's a problem here is that we consume oxygen overnight, but we don't generate oxygen overnight because the diffuser shuts down. Because it just doesn't get power because we're on a manual generator. And I think that's a problem. So let's dig out a bit more here. Oh yeah, don't forget the bed. I got sidetracked. Thank you, Lynn. Okay, we've got the jobs board. Now we can do jobs assignment. So these people are unemployed. Alright, so I'm trying to understand this system because I've just not seen this before. So I can assign somebody as an apprentice miner, and that's going to give them a bonus to their mining skill. And then I can bring them up to... okay. So if I assign them as apprentice miners, then they have to master that before they can become full miners, and at which point they start to get additional trading in very firm material mining and abyssalite mining. But there are also auto-prioritize. Okay, well, so Lindsay is ranch, farm, and operate interests, but is a cook. Jean is an operate. Hassan is operate, art, build. Otto is dig, farm, operate. So Otto just qualified. So this drop down actually is going to give me the right assignments. So I can give Hassan an apprentice architect, but his morale is too low. I can give Liam this one, but his morale is too low. So these are the morale requirements up here. So apparently morale is a bit of a problem for us. Weird, you know, you're in the middle of some sort of asteroid thing, and you're a clone and you're pretty close to dying constantly, and you're not getting enough oxygen, and morale's a problem. Who'd have thought? Alright. And now we get a tutorial on morale. So the food, rooms, decor, and recreation of duplicate experiences will have an effect on their morale. Good experiences improve their morale, and poor experiences drop it. When morale is below their expectations, duplicants will become stressed. As duplicants are assigned to jobs, they gain increased expectations, and so the colony will have to be improved to keep up their morale. An overview of morale and stress can be viewed on the vitals screen. So that's interesting because you're actually generating a pretty big kind of race condition here. Because they're saying, okay, well, your job system is going to give you a benefit, but it's going to mean that people's expectations continue to increase, in which case, hey, you know what? Fucking deal with it. That's kind of cool. That's very different. in a lot of ways. So there's a, you know, for as many mechanics as I'm kind of going, yeah, cool, fucking seen it before, there are actually a lot that are nice twists on some of this stuff. So, oxygen generation is still feeling like it's a priority that we're not delivering on currently. Okay, these algal terrariums are emitting 40 grams a second, and the delta that we had was like... The delta's 50 kilograms. So these terrariums are not going to get us where we need to go. Okay, well, that's good to know. There's 4.8 kilojoules of power available in that battery. That's not much. The research station is... The power stuff is not... So there's 400 produced, there's 420 consumed. That's a pretty big red flag that we're not... Power consumed. 240 for the microbe musher, 120 for the diffuser, 60 for the research station. So we are actually over by 20, and it's because we're still reliant on that for food. We've got 43 grams of kilograms of food stored. Some mush bars. Some muck root, some nutrient bars, some muck root, some mush bars, more mush bars, more mush bars, lots of not super fresh mush bars. What's interesting here is that, like, every item within the thing is getting batched up and has a freshness and germ score. So again, you kind of... I think this is a point that I kind of almost keep making, but it's really interesting to me the extent to which, like, these simulation games effectively make their data model really opaque. Really transparent. You know, there is no opacity here. I can more or less articulate how you would implement this. And it's interesting that, like, these are grouped together because they're decaying at the same rate. But there's a really odd number. It's not like there's one unit, so that's kind of cool. It's a different kind of take on the normal inventory of, like, you know, there is a unit, there is another unit, and that's how it's going to be. RimWorld does that very discrete batching of units. Alright, we're getting pollution up here, and I don't know why. I think it's probably because of that storage bin. But having people sleeping next to the storage bin doesn't seem the best. Carbon dioxide down here. There's not a lot we can do about it. We've got natural gas here, that's new. I have an idea that this is going to fail completely. But let's... Let's go with a planter box. Let's see if we can... Like, a row of planter boxes there feels like it can't be more shit from an oxygen production point of view than those terrariums are, because they're fucking terrible. Probably need to work towards... I don't really want to go for internal combustion because it's going to generate more coal. It's going to take coal, but it's going to generate carbon dioxide. And we're getting problematic around our carbon dioxide. I guess let's give our digger something to do here. We'll create a new room there. Oxygen is definitely a problem here. It's interesting seeing, you know, these are... This seems like it would be... Puffs are non-aggressive critters that excrete lumps of slime with each breath, and their diet is polluted oxygen. So if we could actually get over there and get that guy in, that could be useful for cleaning up the oxygen. Alright, how are we doing? So last cycle we consumed 322 and we produced 297. Oh, that's 40 grams a second. How many seconds are there in a day? Fuck. Time breakdown. 2000... Oh, fuck. Okay. Who the fuck is Draco? We've got Hassan. These are people that are not part of our colony. That's weird. That's real weird. Alright, well. Stress-wise, we added 11% and we removed 41%, so that feels like a net positive. Calorie generation, 0 calories, 0... Oxygen generation, plus 18, minus 53 for a net of minus 35. Okay, the algae terrariums added 11.6 kilograms through the day, and the oxygen diffuser only added 6.5. So 3 of these is making almost double what one of those is. All right, so I was wrong. We should definitely index more heavily in these. Alright, we've got the ventilation stuff now. Let me just click through. carries gas between output and intake. Can be run through wall and floor tiles. Gas pump draws in. I wonder if we can selectively draw in gas or if it's just everything. Because I kind of like to pull oxygen from there down and CO2 from here down. But I think selective. Let's look at the research. Ventilation, pressure management. Improved ventilation allows us insulated gas, high pressure gas fan, gas shut off. Gas pipe element sensor becomes active when the chosen... well... this is all like thermoregulation. Don't know. Alright, let's maybe give it a go. If we had a good day yesterday and everybody is a bit less stressed, does that mean that people are now... Yes. Hassan is qualified for the apprentice architect position. Liam is qualified for the gopher position. I bet we're not ready for... No, we're not ready for the next one, but we've got enough people who can go onto this one. And Bert can be an apprentice miner. Well, Liam's already assigned. Alright, I think that's... oh, Otto wasn't... Otto's morale is too low. Oh well, fuck Otto. Leonardo says that it's starting to look like a game for accountants. To be honest, it actually is. Like, there's a major kind of underlying thing here that is, you know, these resource management games are very much kind of like that. Let's get... Let's get some of these mealwood seeds up. We're going to need some illumination down there. So let's bring in a ceiling light. We can put there. In order to do that, we're going to need to run a wire. disable the research station for right now. Ooh, that's a problem. So in building these wires, that's just hidden the wall. Fuck. So everything is now floating, which was not my intention. Oh, yeah, okay. You can't even run them through the fucking floor. Oh, this is a problem. I didn't know you couldn't run wiring inside of... Deconstruct. Deconstruct. Oh, that's a massive pain in the ass. Alright, so instead we're going to go over. We're going to go down. Hopefully they can overlap with a ladder. And let's find out what happens if we do that. And now let's lay this tile on there. Yeah, Lynn's follow-up to the comment about being a game for accountants is that might be why she likes games like this. And I wasn't going to call you out for it, but I do remember all the months/years we both put into Eve, which is basically just the same thing. Spaceship accounting rather than space colony accounting, maybe. Alright. Let's just get through the night here. We'll see if we can get these fucking wires put together. Jesus. So let's look at... So yesterday we netted... Oh! Okay, we netted at minus 97 kilograms. Right. Okay, well. I was more right about the algal terrarium than I thought I was. Alright. Well, hey. It's not really a thing that you get these things right the first time, right? So that's just over 2 hours, so I think I'm going to call it for today. This has been Oxygen Not Included. It's still in early access, but it actually is it's a lot more polished than it was a year ago, which is a really good indicator of where they're headed. But also, like, I'm sort of sat here, like, wondering why this is early access at this point, because this feels really good. It feels like you could almost kind of just go, hey, you know what? Let's launch it. It's done. So I'm really interested to see like what new things they add here. If you've enjoyed the stream for, I was going to say for any reason, but hopefully the reason would be me talking. I don't know. But if you've enjoyed the stream and you're not a follower of the stream, please go ahead and follow. We'll be back on Wednesday evening. I haven't decided what we're going to be playing on Wednesday, but it will probably suck less than the thing that I played last Wednesday, which was just a terrible, terrible fucking game. It's the first time that I've played something for like half an hour on stream and gone, actually, you know what, I'm going to ask for a refund. did not at all live up to the expectations in any way. So let me press that button, which is gonna cut off the game audio. So I'm getting slick with this Stream Deck stuff. So if you want to know when we're going to be streaming next, like I say, it's going to be Wednesday. I need to get my Twitch events thing set back up so that you can get a reminder for that. But you can always follow along. I always get it wrong. On Twitter at GameAI Show, and on Facebook, facebook.com/GameAI Show. We're going to be, like I say, Wednesday normal stream, and then next Sunday is going to be no normal stream due to my traveling. But once I get back, we'll be launching out of soft launch and into full kind of out of early access and onto the full V1 of the Game AI Show. And hopefully that's going to be a lot of fun. I'm having a blast with this stream. I really hope you guys are as well, following along. If you've got any feedback or suggestions, you can leave it either on social media, or there is a suggestions box on Twitch that I don't think anybody's used. So feel free to just reach out. Let me know what you're thinking about, how you're kind of enjoying this, but also like what do you want to see me talk about? Like, we've got an awful lot of opportunity to talk about all things game AI and kind of system design and kind of stuff. So yeah, for those of you who are going to be at GDC, I've got 4 talks at GDC this year, which is the most I've ever done. I think I'm looking forward to it, but I'm a little bit intimidated at it. So main session is going to be on Monday. It's called Beyond NPCs, AI for Game Operations. It's going to be talking more about the opportunity for AI to help you run your game studio effectively. So talking about things like optimization techniques around machine learning for things like user acquisition, ad sales, cheater detection, QA kind of things. Basically all the things that are not fucking NPCs, because NPCs are one of the least exciting areas for AI right now. I'm also going to be participating in the Turing Tantrums session. That's Monday afternoon, basically making the case with a lot of swearing and yelling about why maybe it's time that we stop focusing on NPCs. Things like the phrase, there is a fucking AI revolution happening and it's passing us by, will be used. On Tuesday of GDC, it's going to be 2 things. One is the simplest AI trick in the book. It's a recurring session at GDC that I'm going to be contributing to. And then in the afternoon, I think, but they're both kind of late morning, early afternoon, we've got a panel on ethics in artificial intelligence. That's going to be really exciting. And hopefully, even if it'll be recorded, so if you can't come out in person, it will be available in the GDC Vault. And hopefully that's one of the sessions that will get promoted onto the open access, available to the public pretty quickly, because I'm expecting that to be a lot of fun. And that's it. That's it for this week. Thank you very much for joining. There's been a whole host of people chatting and hanging out. It's a great way for me to spend my Sunday morning. I'm really thankful for it. And like I say, it gives me an opportunity to kind of have a hobby that's not work, which is a new thing for me. But B, also carve out some time and actually play some of these games and have a more nuanced view of what's happening in the landscape. So I'm really happy. I'm really appreciative of everybody who's kind of supporting me and helping me make this happen. 6:30 Wednesday. I hope to see you there. Obviously, for the people who are in the EU, probably less of a thing, but that's why we're doing mornings on the weekends as well. So thank you very much, and see you later.